What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Gin College Podcast. I'm your host, John J. II, alongside our college sports insider, Sam Vitale. Sam, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good, John. Good to be here with you, man.
Hey, it's great to be back. This is the Christmas season for college basketball fans, as we know. Leading into it, got the first four going on. Got a big one tonight. Who plays tonight? Xavier and who?
We've got Xavier in Texas tonight for their
That's right.
play-in game.
That's right. Xavier in Texas, going to be a heated matchup, fighting for the 11th seed. And yeah, I mean, it's heating up. We're getting into it. Brackets are being created, and brackets will soon be busted, I'm sure. So we'll jump into that here in a little bit. But first of all, I want to talk about a college football outlook. Sam, what's the college football scene looking like going into the fall of 2025? Talk to me.
College football outlook it's a roller coaster, right, man? You've got a national champion who didn't even make their conference championship game. We've got the brand new 12-team playoff that debuted this year. Though we have the 16-team playoff on the horizon, 2026. The big thing that I want to highlight today, I'm calling it right now. What do we got? 319 is National Coach Prime Day. Coach Prime Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes, came out with an idea that I'm going to claim as my own. I'm going to say he stole it from me, though we've never talked. And that is having an actual spring game. You've got coaches around the country, Nebraska, for example, USC, for example, they've shut down the spring game. They've accused other teams of poaching and said, why would I show you my twos and threes just for you to come in and offer them NIL in the post spring portal? It's a valid concern, but then you've got Coach Prime out in Boulder, and he says, I'll do you one better. I want Syracuse. I will fly Syracuse out for the week. Let's do joint practices, NFL style, and let's then have a spring game that Saturday. Now, I am repulsed by the idea of college football trying to mirror the NFL. This right here, joint practices and a joint spring game, I'll take that. I will say I'll pick and choose, and let's do joint practices amongst teams. And Deion Sanders at Colorado has made my day. He's made my week right there leading into March Madness. I couldn't have better college football news with his proposal.
Wow, I mean, you want to talk about reviving the, watchability of the spring game and kind of the revival of the spring season as a whole. That's kind of it. And there was talks about eliminating the spring transfer portal window and just keeping that December window, which I think that may go into effect. I don't know if they decided on that or not, but basically, and this is just another glaring negative aspect of NIL and the transfer portal as a whole is the fact that we have to worry about this type of thing with the spring game, and we shouldn't have to worry about this type of thing. So I think this is a good, happy medium, common ground, place to be, and I think it's only going to work out in the team's benefit that choose to participate in this type of deal. And I guess how does it work? So is there a limited amount of teams that can show up, or is there a decided upon, list of teams, or how does that work?
So much like the rest of college football today, this is the wild, wild west. The NCAA has absolutely zero authority over what you can do in spring ball. So, for example, MSU could do what they've been doing. They can have their spring practices, they can have their spring game, just like they've been doing. U of M could have Hawaii come into Ann Arbor for a week. They could have UNLV come in for a week. They could do joint practices for 5 days in a spring game for both of those teams if they wanted to. There's really no rules behind this. Really, all that the NCAA can enforce right now is that portal window and how many hours per week can each team practice. But outside of that, these teams have free reign to invite whatever team they want into their facilities.
Yeah, you're talking about cross conference. I'm glad that the NCAA allows for a Wild West scenario, which looks like Coach Prime is taking advantage of. And who better to take advantage of this type of situation and lenience than Coach Prime? It seems like right up his alley of creating his own narrative and possibly even with a background thought of maybe for his own benefit type of thing too behind in the background. Nobody's really even talking about it. Nobody's really thinking about it. They're just looking at their own teams, what they can do to build, and that's all they're thinking about. Whether he has ulterior motives in mind, really, it is not on any team's radar right now. So whether that's the case or not, I guess that'll lead to another discussion. But we'll have to wait and see how this pans out. I'm excited to watch it and take part in following this new era of spring seasons for college football. It's right around the corner.
Absolutely.
Yep. So let's talk about college basketball now. This is what everyone's been waiting for. This is going to be basically what we talk about for the next month or so, maybe less, as March Madness flies by. It's like a thief in the night. It's here for a minute and then it's gone with all your valuables, which is going to happen if you're a better, if you're a sports better in March Madness. It's going to happen to you. Just fair warning. I don't want to have a you say I told you so, or I'll say it back at you, or whatever. So that's where we're at. We're looking at brackets. But first of all, we got to talk about the Big Ten tournament. And obviously, your Michigan Wolverines came away with it. How do you feel about that?
I feel amazing about it. I came on your podcast a few months ago and talked a lot of crap about the guys in the clubhouse at Golf League. We got to take a step back here. This was after the USC game. I had a clubhouse full of 70 guys talking about, this is not going to beat Ohio State. We only threw for 27 passing yards. I gave them all the stats and said, listen, we're going to be fine. I met those same guys on Friday afternoon, and we talked basketball. And these same guys were talking about we don't have a chance against Purdue. And I said, we're only 2.5 point underdogs, man. Come on. And they said, if we played anything the way we've been playing, we have no shot. And I said, I understand that, but we've got 5 days off. And they said, Trey Donaldson looks lost. He can't hit the tray ball. Roddy Gale doesn't know what he's doing. And I said, listen, this is your team. You got to support your team. We got 5 days off. Let's be optimistic. And guess what happened? We go 3 for 3. We're underdogs in all 3 games and we come out on top. I mean, am I going to say that I predicted it? No. Did I make money betting off of it? No. But in my heart, did I believe that we could do it? Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. If you're a real diehard about your team, you got to think that 5 days off is going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I tip my cap to the Maize and Blue for doing it and winning it essentially. And I guess just to rewind a little bit further, we can talk about and dive into the second matchup between the Spartans and the Michigan Wolverines at the Breslin Center at the Sparty's house. And we kind of expected. You mentioned this before in the pre-show. It's very hard to beat a team twice, especially in a rivalry situation, beat a team twice in the same season. But it's even harder to win a third time, or maybe it gets easier. I think we said it got easier if you can beat them a second time, go into a third matchup, and then you're kind of on the downhill slope. That didn't happen. I think a lot of people were wishing State would have got over the hump, and they should have been. I still think that Jeremy Fears got fouled there, and that on that 3-point try. Whether he would have made the three free throws is another story. He made two very big ones in the dying embers, so I have confidence that he would have made them. But it's water under the bridge. So everyone wanted the Michigan State matchup, the three-peat matchup to happen. It didn't happen. But just rewinding a little bit behind the scenes and talking about the controversy with the blocking of the players, the seniors trying to kiss the head, the Spartan head. I mean, you want to talk about classlessness. That's what Michigan basketball is, and that's what they showed in that last game against Michigan State. I wish they had a third game. I really did. And Dusty Mays wants to play the ignorance card. I don't buy it. Okay, I think he's playing into the rivalry, and I respect that because he's only getting his feet wet with the rivalry. Now he's fully immersed. He's in the pool. So I want to hear your take, and then we can go from there.
John. I mean, in the spirit of the rivalry, I'll take it. I've got one for you. So,
Okay.
what I basically deliberated with the guys was that in basketball, it's tradition that the MSU seniors kiss the Spartan at the half court, and in football they kiss our cocks. So, I mean, we both teams learn here, and next year we'll know better.
Hey, well, lesson learned is a lesson learned, I guess. Regardless of how you learn it, is a different story. I guess it kind of just begs the question, though: who is the little brother? And we can talk about in basketball, or it could be a different one in football. It can be up for debate. We can throw it to the jury to decide.
Well, I guess the
I
good
don't know.
news is that if we play as best as both teams can, we will meet again in this region of the tournament, which is very exciting. Like you had mentioned, it's really hard to beat a team twice in one season. That's part of the reason why Michigan fans have their rifts as to where we were seated number five, and we've got Wisconsin seated above us, even though we beat them twice. Again, really hard to do. But where this is fun is the way it plays out is that we can meet again, Michigan and Michigan State, for that three-peat, possibly for Michigan State. I'll be honest, I've got a bad attitude about it. I'm a Michigan homer 99% of the time. But given the way that Michigan State beat us twice, I got to give Tom Izzo his flowers. And I do admit, I think MSU's got our number here. It'd be best for us if Michigan State could drop off before we get there.
Wow, it's funny you say that, and I guess we're bringing out our sportsmanship shoes a little bit because I was gonna say the contrary, just based on how they attacked and were able to limit the Wisconsin Badgers in the Big Ten championship game. That's where I would basically give the edge to Michigan, especially because there's trends. You follow the trends, you ride the trends. It's just like trading stocks or whatever market you're trading, whatever you're looking at, you got to follow the trends. You can't disregard the trends, regardless of how much you believe in them or how much they're going to hold or not. But Oregon was a similar team that was riding the trend, and then they got humbled in the Big Ten tournament. They lost their momentum to the upside. I think Michigan is only climbing higher with this win against Wisconsin and winning the Big Ten tournament. So I like their chances early in the big dance. So you're looking at it. You got some high potential to make it to the Sweet 16 rather easily. The top of the South. We'll just take a look at it here right now. But you're looking at Auburn, Alabama State. That's probably going to be an Auburn win. We'll just put it, or we can't edit the thing. We'll just look at it for glancing purposes. Auburn's going to win that game. Then these are the teams you got to worry about: Louisville, Creighton, then Auburn. I'm not too worried about A&M. Not too worried about Yale. Not too worried about UC San Diego. Now, upsets can happen. We understand that. We know that. We can acknowledge that every single year we get our brackets busted to pieces. But your path to the Sweet 16 for Michigan is rather. I guess you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how you want to put it, but you can see the path. You can see the path without too much resistance. So riding that, and this is going to be the most important thing for Michigan, and that is riding the momentum into the big dance, not getting too high on your high horse and saying, hey, we got to dial it back. We got to figure it out. And I haven't seen a team yet really be able to handle that type of highs and lows. And really, you experience the lows first for Michigan. Now they're experiencing the highs. How do you ride those highs and calculate that energy into something that's going to breed further success in a different environment, in a different framework of a tournament? How do you do that?
Yeah, I think we caught the lows at the right time. This was part of the argument I was having with the guys in the clubhouse. It seems like some folks don't understand that. you tend to lose ball games. Nobody goes at 100%. Nobody goes undefeated in the sport. It just doesn't happen. And we couldn't have caught our low point at a better time, going right into the Big Ten tournament. Everything that we were missing, we turned it up. We can't get boards. We get the boards. We can't hit our free throws. We hit our free throws. Trey Donaldson looks lost. Now he's shooting lasers from the arc. Roddy Gale doesn't know what he's doing out there. Now he's ball hawking all over the court. I mean, we couldn't have caught that rough patch at a better time. That being said, I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. A&M and Yale, I don't care who wins that game. It doesn't do anything for me. We're going to beat UC San Diego. I didn't know they were a damn team. I love their mascot. The Triton rules. That absolutely rules. No disrespect to them, but didn't know they existed. I can't overlook Auburn though. If we're going to come back and we're going to have a rematch with State down the road, getting through Auburn is going to be tough, man. I mean, Ken Palm has them as number 4. I view them a little bit higher than number 4, especially because Ken Palm doesn't seem to be really factoring in the Cooper Flag injury for Duke. They've still got Duke at number 1, which to me is crazy. I mean, I get it, but without him, I mean, you got to admit you're less of a team, but that's beside the point. I like Michigan in this tournament. I think we're good for at least a couple of games. I just I don't want to get too ignorant and say that Auburn's a cakewalk for us. Auburn's a cakewalk for nobody. Auburn's one of the best teams in the country. Everybody should have their number, and everybody should be afraid of them.
Yeah, Auburn, they've proven themselves to be a powerhouse for a couple of years now, 2 consecutive years, and even going back beyond the 2-year mark, they've been a force, and they've proven it in their recruiting classes and their gameplay and how they're able to attack the rim and attack the ball, especially when you're getting rebounds, getting offensive boards. That's where points are made, and that's where games are won or lost, depending on what side you're on. But I guess I got to ask this question too. Why the hell do they put, I mean, unless they're just trying to create World War III, why do they put Michigan and Michigan State both in the South region? Why can't we meet a little bit later? I get it's the Elite Eight, but I mean, you're talking about say they did meet in the Big Ten tournament. You're talking about 4 potential matchups in the same seat. I mean, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I think a lot of people would love to see it. I think Dusty Mays wanted Wisconsin to lose in the semifinals so they could have State in that final game because and you want to talk about a change in momentum. Losing to State and facing that controversy that they faced, that was a springboard for them into the successes that you had previously mentioned. But I just got to know, why do they put them both in the same region? I mean, who's in charge of making the bracket?
No, I tend to agree with you, man. I mean, getting beat the way that we did definitely lit a fire under our asses, and it definitely turned us around there, especially after that 5-day break. This seeding for Michigan is just brutal, man. We beat Wisconsin twice, and they're seeded higher than us. We beat Purdue. We beat Maryland in the Big Ten tournament, and they're seeded higher than us. I don't love to throw around the whole stuff is rigged, and especially I don't like to throw around that the committee has something out for my team. I really don't want to be that guy, but man, this seating, it's just weird. I don't know if I've really seen something like this in recent years. I mean, to have such a immediate possible rematch between MSU and Michigan, it's just really out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, at least have us meet, and the only other potential time, if you put us in a different region, the only nearest time we could meet would be the Final Four. And I mean, make it be the Final Four. If they happen to meet in the Final Four, then that was destiny for them to meet in the Final Four. But now you're talking about the Elite Eight. You're only talking about one round before that. But still, you're in the same region. You got 4 regions. You got a lot of Big Ten teams that are spread out somewhat consistently throughout the 4 regions. Just put Michigan and Michigan State in a different region. That's all you got to do. And even better yet, say you put Michigan State in the South and you put Michigan in the Midwest, because you know the regions don't mean shit when it comes to actual geography, anyways. Have them meet in the final game. Talk about destiny then. I mean, that was meant to be. And that'd be a hell of a game. I think everyone would be watching that game.
Nah, I'm totally with you. There's a lot of folks in the national media that are kind of grasping for straws, trying to make it dramatic, the seating that we have, where we've got the big guys, we've got Danny Wolf, and we got Vlad Golden, and they're 7 feet tall, and we've got to go out to Denver, Colorado, and deal with that air out there. That's really not the drama that we want. Sorry, I don't know if you can.
Who's mad?
I got two bird dogs having a verbal argument. Um,
Who's
but the
winning?
Denver, Colorado air is really not the drama we want to see. We want to see the MSU and U of M rematch in a bigger spot than what they have us seated at. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we want to see. That's what the people want to see. And we're just going to have to wait and see what the bracket brings us after the first round. Maybe we'll do a recap. But I don't like diving too much into the bracket right now because we can get lost in the sauce looking at this stuff. Maybe I'll share it on Twitter. Maybe I won't. We'll kind of go from there. Sam, are you a Twitter guy? I got to ask you.
So I'm an IT project manager. I should be very well versed in these things, but I'm just learning Twitter now. I'm an Instagram guy getting into Twitter, so maybe I could employ you to show me the ropes.
Hey, I'd be a happy employer. I'd even work pro bono for you. Just because we got to get your views out there on the Twitter waves. I think the we're doing the world a disservice by not sharing those views with the world. So I'll definitely assist you with that. But yeah, I guess what are your final thoughts? We'll end it right there. What are your final thoughts going into the tournament and going into the spring, essentially, both with college football starting back up soon and the big dance right around the corner?
I'll lead off with college football. I'll close with basketball. I couldn't be more excited about college football. We've got some of the best college football possibly ever coming our way with Bryce Underwood at Michigan, with Julian Sayin at Ohio State, with Arch Manning at Texas, with John Mateer transferring to Oregon. We've got the big guns this year for college football. I can't wait to see what kind of changes that Deion Sanders is going to bring to this sport. I'll be the first to admit I've not been his biggest supporter. I don't love the whole transfer instead of recruit thing. But if Deion Sanders is going to bring light to college football in April, I'm going to stand behind him 100%. This year is going to be amazing. Again, not a Big 12 team playoff fan. The whole extended playoff, I don't love it, but we're going to reap the benefits of it immediately this year with college football. When you see Texas going to Ohio State in August, it's gonna be amazing, man. I'm gonna spend the next 5-ish months drooling over any college football content that I can get. As far as college basketball goes, man, we've got it teed up for us. I mean, we got 2 games going on right now. We've got that 16 seed playoff game wrapping up as we speak. We've got Texas Xavier on deck tonight. It couldn't get any more exciting than this. The next 2 days are going to be amazing. I'd be a liar if I said that I was going to be really dialed into my meetings on Thursday and Friday at work. My days might end at noon this week. I might be wrapped up in just watching the round of 64, man. I mean, this is the best time of year.
It really is. It couldn't get any better than this moment right now. And we're right in the thick of it right now. We're actually right before the thick of it. The tidal wave is about to hit. We're going to get swarmed with the culture, which is college sports, and it's going to hit us twofold. And I'm excited for it. Really happy for it. That's actually another can of worms we got to open up that we haven't opened up. I actually maybe have talked about it periodically. There might be a TikTok out there about it. Regarding the controversy around the displeasure, I guess we'll put it that way, the displeasure for the 12 team format. So that's a can of worms we'll save for next time, but I want to dive into that with you just a little bit more before the spring season embarks upon us. But let it sit, let it marinate, sleep on it, and we'll get back to it here on the next show. But we'll leave it at that, guys. Make sure to check us out on social media. Check us out on our website, ginsportsnetwork.com, Twitter at GinPros, and check us out on IG at Gin Sports Network and at Gin College. For now, I'm John J. II alongside Sam Vitale with the College Podcast, which is the Gin College Podcast. Have a great night and build your brackets correctly. We'll see you next time.